Welcome to today's vlog. Thanks so much for joining me. For many years now, Sue and I have supported a great organisation called Care for the Family. As you might have imagined from the title of the organisation, it's an organisation which offers all sorts of resources and support for family life. Probably a bit more than that. A few weeks ago, I had an email to say that they were going to be running an online marriage course, a course designed to support and encourage and build up marriages. And although Sue and I have been married for 42 years, we felt that hopefully we're never too old to learn new things. So we've been using that marriage course each week on YouTube. The one we watched last night had to do with connection, how we can connect more effectively with one another as married couples. And it began by asking us to think about the differences in our characters. And that was an interesting thing to do, because Sue and I are so different in many, many ways. In some ways, chalk and cheese. I always, if I'm going somewhere, like to be well in time. Sue doesn't mind being last minute. I prepare to plan a long way in advance for something. Sue is happy to just go with the flow, and sometimes she's last minute, although we both get there in the end in our different ways. So lots of different ways by which we differ from one another, but somehow we've managed to keep going, and we kind of work together quite well, perhaps partly because of those differences. So differences are not a bad thing in themselves. It's how we handle them, how we address them. Now, I came across, again, I've been sorting through my stuff, and I came across an old folder from, I think this may well have come from the time when our church in Doncaster became the first ever church to sponsor a Doncaster Rovers home match. It was a great experience. We had a meal beforehand, had a tour of the stadium. We got to sit in nice seats and choose the Man of the Match award, which I presented at the end of the match. Anyway, this folder may well have been given at that time or some other time while I was a chaplain there. And it's a Doncaster Rovers Football Club folder. And at the bottom, it's got the club crest, and it says "One team, one passion." That's a reminder that for a group of people to have success, they have to work together as a team. And I remember a time when I was a chaplain at the Rovers when, I don't know who it was, someone had the idea that we should help the team to do better by bringing in some overseas players. And that in one sense seemed like a good idea, because these were skillful players. One of them was El Hadj Diouf, who if you're a football fan, you will have heard of. He was a bit of an interesting character, but although this seemed to be a good idea, it didn't actually work, because although these players that were brought in were very skillful, the whole squad didn't gel. And so when I went into the training ground on a Friday morning and into the room where the players met and had breakfast and that, you would often see the overseas players sat in one group and the UK-based players in another group. So there wasn't a unity at all. So there wasn't at that time one team, one passion. And that has led me to think about church life, because one of the things I've found it really hard to come to terms with is when in the life of a local church there has been division, when there hasn't been a working together, when there hasn't been love shown to others within the life of the church. And that has affected the whole church in negative ways. One of the ways by which a true disciple of Jesus can be identified, and this is the word of Jesus himself. He said, "By this will people know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." So the love that we have for each other as the people of God is a sign, a testimony, a witness that we are true disciples of Jesus. And in the 17th chapter of John's Gospel, we have recorded there a prayer of Jesus before he was to be taken and crucified. And he prays, first of all, for himself in that situation. Then he prays for his disciples. And then he prays for those who will come after. In the words, he's praying for us. And I want to just read to you one of the verses from that passage. Jesus says, I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, through the message of the disciples, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. So Jesus is praying for the unity of the church, that we might express unity in the way that Jesus, the Son, is in unity with God the Father. And that's some amazing prayer, isn't it? But that is God's desire for us. We live in a divided world where there is much conflict, where wars are happening, where people are criticizing, falling out, arguing, complaining, divided. And if we as church cannot live out that prayer of Jesus, fulfill that prayer of Jesus by loving one another and showing that we can live in unity together, that makes God very sad. When Sue spent a year with an organisation called Operation Mobilisation, and they had two big ships that used to travel around the world, taking Christian resources and involving in mission. But there were on those ships young people from vast numbers of nations, different backgrounds, different cultures, but they worked as one because of the love of Christ within them. So that's the challenge for us. On that Doncaster Rovers brochure, it says one team, one passion. And that is really how church should be. We are one together, one body in Christ. Different parts, but one body. And we have to show that unity. We have to love one another. We have to be as one people, as a witness, a sign to the world. God bless you. Have a great day.